Jaden Hardy was the number 2 overall recruit in his high school class, but after an inefficient season with the G League Ignite, he slipped all the way to the Dallas Mavericks in the second round of the 2022 NBA Draft. He's spent a large chunk of this season in the G League as well, but with Kyrie and Luka missing some games, Hardy's been given a real NBA opportunity, and he's breaking out as a scorer, putting up 18 points per game and over 40% from 3 in his last 6 outings. He showed out again last night in their loss to the Grizzlies, putting up 20 points in only 18 minutes. He scored 7 of the Mavs' total 12 points in the fourth quarter. He was subbed out at the 5:15 mark in the fourth, and the team didn't score a single point after he checked out. He's a professional scorer and has looked very good with increased opportunity. He still needs more minutes. Coach Kidd has honestly had awful rotations for most of the year. However, it looks like the Mavs have a potential future star on their hands, as Hardy can easily be a 20-point-per-game scorer someday. To truly understand how good Hardy can become, let's take a look at his rookie season as a whole, and then his recent hot stretch. Before we get into Jaden Hardy's recent breakout, if you enjoy my content and have watched a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 96% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you watched me before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. Jaden Hardy was the number 2 ranked player in his high school class, only behind Chet Holmgren. He was ahead of guys like Paolo Banchero and Jabari Smith Jr., who both ended up being in discussions for the first overall selection. However, after a down year with the G League Ignite program, Hardy saw his draft stock plummet. He shot only 35% from the floor and 27% from 3. He still put up a solid scoring number at 18 points per game, but it wasn't enough for scouts to ignore the efficiency problems. He was mocked as a first-round prospect by most outlets still. I'd like to proudly say that I still had him as a lottery-level talent on my big board. However, he ended up slipping all the way to the second round in the 37th overall pick, where he was selected by the Sacramento Kings. They traded him to the Mavs on draft night. With him joining a team that made the conference finals the season prior, it seemed like it would be a difficult path for him to get rotational minutes. Before we get into his rookie year, let's first look at his debut summer league, because he showed some elite scoring flashes there that were very promising. His biggest game came in the first one, where he dropped 28 points on a 9 of 19 shooting. This sparked a lot of media coverage and helped get Hardy some notoriety. He looked like a natural scorer that was a level above the competition. However, he cooled off after Game 1, ending with scoring outputs of 14, 11, and 15 in the 3 following games. For the event as a whole, he averaged 15 points, but shot only 35% from the field. It displayed some of the pre-draft concerns about his efficiency, but the scoring upside was obvious. Now let's get into his rookie season. So far, he has played in 37 games at the NBA level, and gotten only 14 minutes per game, which honestly is boosted by the recent stretch. For most of the season, he's been kind of an afterthought and a garbage time player. However, his production has been solid despite the limited minutes. For the season, he's averaged 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. The efficiency hasn't been elite or anything, but it's definitely higher than scouts would have expected, or he would have been selected sooner. For G League this season, because the improvement from last season there is unbelievable. He's played in 11 games with the Texas Legends this season, and despite his shot attempts being slightly lower than last year, his numbers are drastically up. He averaged 29 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, being one of the best players in the G League this season. But the crazy part is the efficiency, which is what most doubted about him. He shot an absolutely absurd 55% from the field and 49% from 3 on almost 9 attempts per game. He's been an absolute flamethrower and is clearly a level above the competition. Outside of his recent production, what we've seen from him in the G League in terms of improvement is the biggest thing showing how high his potential really is. Now let's look at his recent stretch. Hardy got some starts due to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving both missing time, and despite Kyrie returning, Hardy is still continuing to put up great numbers. Over his last 6 games, Hardy's putting up 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, while shooting 42% from the field and 43% from 3 on over 7 attempts per game. He has 4 20-point games over that span, and arguably was their best player when the two stars were out. It was either him or their other young stud, Josh Green. The first 3 20-point games came in outings where he played at least 37 or more minutes, but even though he was limited to 18 minutes last night, he still put up 20. He's becoming a surprisingly efficient scorer, and if his efficiency can stay at this level or even improve, then you've taken away the biggest concern that scouts had. That makes him an immediate lottery-level talent in any draft and a future star for your team. Sure, he's still a little undersized, which will lend to some teams targeting him defensively, but he's extremely quick and athletic, and can make up for some defensive targets by getting steals and deflections. You'll overlook the potential defensive shortcomings because he's a complete dynamo offensively and looks like a player that will be a 20-plus point scorer for many seasons. He was phenomenal value in the second round, and he looks like a huge steal and potential future All-Star. Jaden Hardy slipped down draft boards due to scouts' concerns about his inefficiency and size. However, he's having a breakout as of late due to Luka and Kyrie missing games. He's dropped 20 or more points in 4 out of his last 6 games, including doing it in only 18 minutes last night. He's also seen a massive improvement in the G League compared to his Ignite season, touting a nearly 30-point scoring average and wild 55-49-86 splits this year. He's done it on the big stage as of late as well, and has clearly worked hard to become a more efficient player. Coach Kidd should be playing him more minutes, as honestly, Hardy is already a top 5 player on the team as a 20-year-old second-round pick. His improvement from last year to this one is insane, and he's shown flashes of being a potential 25-plus point per game guy. He's a future star for the Dallas Mavericks, and one of the most naturally gifted scorers in the league. Dude is a straight bucket. Jaden Hardy is a future star for Dallas. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.